Welcome to Patricia's Potpourri. And as you know, previous episodes of Patricia's Potpourri can be seen on YouTube. Today, I have a very, very, very special guest, and a guest that was sent to me, Mrs. Rose Whaley. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. It was pure luck that I got Rose as a guest. And I want to thank her very much for being here. First of all, I want to tell you Rose is an author. Look at this cover. Absolutely fabulous. And this book is Why. But she has several other books. Rose, could you please tell my audience a little about the books, and I'm going to ask about each one of them after I show them. The book Without a Name, Rose Whaley. Ascension, Soul Retrieval, Resurrection, Part 1. Ascension, Soul Retrieval, Resurrection, Part 2. Attracting what your heart truly desires. And Miss Rose, I just want to show you
the Why again.
The Why book, because as when I met her, she gave me a copy of this book, Whys, and it immediately attracted a friend of mine. And this one that I have in my hand, I'm taking back to my friend because he told me I had to buy one for him. Okay, thanks again, Rose. I'd like to ask you about each one of these books individually. Which was your first book?
The book Without a Name. This one, yeah.
The book Without a Name. Could you please tell me a little bit about this?
Okay, this book, I wrote this book in 2006. And how this whole I call it my wake-up call, because I was diagnosed in 1987 with psychosis or scardosis, either. And it's like lupus.
Okay, and for our audience, this is another autoimmune disease, sarcoidosis.
Yes. And I had it in my skin and my lungs. So I had breathing problems.
Oh, so those were the things that manifested itself, your breathing? Tell us a little better.
The lungs was infected, the skin was, and 2 hospitals told me that it is incurable and it can affect any organs in my body, and they cannot stop it.
It attacks different organs in your body?
And all they can do is treat it wherever it goes. But they claim there was no cure. And that really frightened me.
How old were you, when this diagnosis came back? And did you have children? Were you married and not?
Okay.
How did this affect your life, receiving such a I consider it a fatal diagnosis?
Well, I should see it now as a blessing, because I explain in the book, after I got out of an unhealthy, abusive marriage, I thought everything was perfect. Never thought I was going to be diagnosed with a so-called incurable disease. But I explained to people in the book that was my other wake-up call, because I really feel we all get wake-up calls. Sometimes we listen and sometimes we don't.
You know what? I remember one time many years ago looking at the Mike Douglas show, and I will never forget it uh, with my stepmothers. And there was a singer called Minnie Riperton,
Yes.
okay. And she had something, she talked about how there was something in her body she had felt, but she ignored it because she was on the rise then.
Yes.
So she ignored it. And but I'm wondering if what could have been if she had listened to that wake up call.
Well, she could have reversed it because that's what the inner spirit, what people call God, which I call prime creator, infinite intelligence, the most high. So whatever name people want to call the prime creator, because there are many gods. So some people don't know what God they really serving. But from my experience, I asked the creator, because I grew up in the South in religion, and I always felt something was not right about it. And I'm watching my grandmother that I talk about in the book, how she suffered at 68, died looking like she was over 100. And the only thing I can remember about her is being sick. And I'm a little girl and waiting and praying for Jesus. So as a little child, I'm thinking, well, maybe God can't hear. Or Jesus can't hear because look at her, you know. So when I was diagnosed with this disease, I was frightened. And I heard my grandmother, who had made her transition 15 or 16 years ago,
You heard her voice.
her
She
spirit.
came to you.
When I was leaving the hospital, she said, do it different. And I didn't understand. What does she mean, do it different? So she was telling me in the spirit to not follow that path that I grew up watching, observing, waiting on somebody to come back, you know, to
And
save
save
me.
you. Yes.
So, and I told the creator, I don't know who you are or where you are, but I need help.
You know, there is a theory that there is the spirit in you to heal yourself.
Yes.
And you tapped into yourself. Please tell us about that.
Well, that was the whole, you know, whole purpose of the experience, because we're not our experience, we are having an experience. And the experience is for us to grow and learn spiritually to evolve back to Godhead. Because we left the Creator did not leave us. So we are here to have this experience. This is like a game on the 3D. And we get attached to it and we think it's real. And how they trap us with it is with money and materialism. We put that before anything. Greed, money, stuff, and more stuff. So this whole journey, really, everything I wrote about in my books is based on my own experience, not what somebody told me, not what I read, because everything you read or somebody tell you don't have to be true.
And it's a reflection of their experiences. So finish telling what happened with
But this is why we all go through things, because we're here on a mission, whether we realize it or not. We're here for a purpose. If I didn't have all of these, what we call bad experience, how could I teach someone that they can heal themselves if I never had a disease? How can I teach a female she can get out of abusive marriage or relationship if I haven't experienced going through one? Same thing with children. My oldest son is 51 years old. And it's so much that people don't understand. But the thing about dis-ease, it's mainly emotions that we mostly are not conscious of. Now, when I asked the Creator, why me? I heard the voice say, why not you? I got mad at God. I said, what kind of answer is that from God? Why not me? I didn't enter and understand at that time. But the Creator allowed this man that I talk about in the book named Benji, third grade education. The country he came from was Trinidad. People will see him on the blog and think he was like a bum, but very wise. And he said he only completed the third grade. This man gave me, after my first treatment with the steroid shots, I didn't tell anybody in my neighborhood or my family what the diagnosis was, what was going on. And he was walking behind me because we lived in the same building, and he said, Rose, and I was really emotionally upset. I had my first treatment. I didn't know how I was going to deal with this, how I'm going to tell my children. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I'm like, oh God, why is he calling me?
And and from what I understand about being treated with steroids, it can alter your mood or your disposition. Okay, that has happened to lots of athletes who have taken steroids. It has altered their attitude.
Well, it all depends on the amount that people are given because everybody's body is different. And the thing about it, everybody now talking about changing the diet, eating healthy, and because a lot of the chemicals are in the food that's really messing up with the body, the DNA, the brain cells. It's a lot of stuff going on that the system is not telling you because the controller, they make big money on in the medical field. Big money.
Let me tell you, stocks on medicine. Today I was brought an article this morning about a new medication that comes out, and as you say, that is the controller.
But people have to understand, especially people who say they go to church and believe in the Bible. I don't believe everything in the Bible because they altered a lot of things, and a lot of things been misinterpreted. But I never read anything in the Bible say I serve in a sick God. So why is all of these people sick? But let me tell you what really blew my mind. When the young man, he made his transition about 4 years ago.
Benjamin,
Yeah,
Benji.
Benji. When he gave me the key to yourself, he said, I asked the Creator, who can I give this book that'll do the most good? He didn't know I was dealing with what I was dealing with. He said, I'm giving it to you. No Bible, no other book, no preacher, no pope. The key to yourself. So the Creator was letting me know I was the key. Go within. And reading, that's how I knew about law of attraction. I'm talking about way before The Secret came out. The book broke it down. Very small book, simple and to the point. Law of attraction, visualization, and what blew my mind? The power of the subconscious mind.
You know, Rose, you ever heard of you can make yourself sick?
But this is what I was getting
If
ready
you can
to.
make yourself sick,
You can heal.
then you can make yourself
But
well.
this is what the Creator said. Because when I say, why me? The Creator said, why not you? You created this. Now, you know I didn't want to hear that. I did this to myself, but I didn't enter and understood until I read the book, The Key to Yourself, about the power of the subconscious mind. And it took me back when I was a child, seeing mainly 3 people that I felt was getting love and attention and being nurtured that I didn't get growing up. And I said it 3 times, God, if I had a disease, someone will love me.
Rose, could you tell me a little bit about your childhood, just since you made the reference?
Well, I had 2 what we will call dysfunctional parents because they was in their own pain. So instead of running to church to cover it up, they turned to drinking alcohol, gambling, partying, and they really forgot they had 3 children in the household. So we really raised ourselves, and we grew up in a violent household because it was
Though
fighting
all of those are
every
true.
weekend.
Eh,
It was
all of those
fight.
things trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never got, my parents never showed love. They never hugged. They never said, I love you. We never, none of that. So when I saw somebody being taken care of, being sick, I associated that with love, not the pity party, but love. And I said it. Because when I read The Power of the Subconscious Mind, started learning how to meditate, it took me right back. And I can see when I said it with 3 incidents, God, if I had a disease, somebody will love me. And a lot of people mentally is creating illness to get attention, to feel love, to, hey, I'm here. Somebody, that's why I told people, tell your children you love them, hug them, bond with them, nurture them. Because when you're a child, you come with that urge of that bond, that love, that nurturing that a lot of parents, especially today, because they're having children just to get welfare, Section 8, just to stay here in the country because they just having children for all the wrong reasons.
And a lot of parents are working, mothers working 2 and 3 jobs just to pay this high, expensive rent, or just to live or to feed their children. So you have to take a step back and give them another type of nurturing, and that's through love. Like you said, that I love that theory. You gotta give them a hug.
But they have to feel it. A lot of people hug people, but it's cold. Even with kisses, it's not real. It's the programming. Just like with Mother's Day. I know people who claim they hate their mother, but every Mother's Day they run out to buy a gift. That's the programming. That's conditioning. So we like on automatic. Oh, Mother's Day, I have to go buy her a gift. But she lived 3 blocks away, and you haven't seen her in a whole year.
I love that.
But
I
and people think, oh, that you gave her a gift on Mother's Day. Oh, you love her. And this is why I wrote the Why book, because it's getting us to the core of it. Because we can heal ourselves, but we have to deal with all of these emotions, and we have to learn how to forgive ourselves.
I want to get back to your childhood because I know that you were in an abusive marriage and then spiraling backwards to your childhood. I'm wondering, could that have been a trigger for you to pick that partner that did not do right by you?
Exactly. And everybody went crazy over the secret law of attraction. You only can attract
I never
what
read
you.
The Secret.
Well, it blew
That's
up.
all right. It's something.
Especially when it was on Oprah, it went big time. But Larry King was the first one that had interviewed the people with. But
Just tell me about it. Tell
well,
me
the
about
law of attraction, and I did it on a couple of my shows to show people that all you got to do is get a magnet and put different things there. Whatever is not on that frequency, it's not going to attract to that magnet.
Wait a minute. Let me stop again. You said your show. You have a show?
Every Tuesday for
Please just
15 years.
tell us about the name. 15 years. Tell us the name of the show and where we may see your show, because I'm definitely hooked in and interested.
Well, it's self-awareness, whose truth, because my show is about you being aware of self, not me, you. See, that's the problem. Everybody looking for somebody out there to be their leader instead of becoming the leader. We all are leaders. No one is greater or lesser than you. But we get caught up in labels and titles. They got PhDs, so they better than me, they smarter. A lot of people with they can't stand toe to toe with me.
Tell me again the name of your show, the or where we may find your show.
Self-awareness, whose truth, every Tuesday at 7:30 on channel 70.
And do you have a YouTube?
The YouTube clip, Rose Whaley, and there's 100 and maybe 30 clips of the different
130 shows?
Yeah, different people. Oh, I have done many of shows. But this is not about, my show is not about me. The books are not about me. It's about helping people help themselves.
I love it.
I don't want people to be dependent on me. That's not a true teacher. A true spiritual teacher is to help people realize they are the teacher. They are the power. They are everything they're looking for is already inside of them.
So you're saying through self-awareness,
Yes.
and there are things inside of ourselves, we can heal ourselves.
We can heal everything. We can heal anything. And when Louise Hayes came out with the book years ago, they thought she was crazy. You can
Tell
heal.
me, I don't know who Louise Hayes is. Tell me
well,
about the book.
She's big.
Just tell me a bit,
Well,
because we only have a
because
few minutes left.
She relate to a lot of the emotional to the symptoms. And once you heal the emotion, the symptom goes away. Because the doctor only treating the symptom, not the cause. So if they treat the symptom and you didn't deal with the cause, it's going to come back or it's going to go someplace else. I've been healed over 20 years.
20
and it's
years?
2017
Wait,
now.
excuse me. Could we stop right now, Miss Rose? You know what? You know why? Because I'm going to have you back for another part. And I have to tell you, I feel even better just talking to you, knowing that you're telling me that the power
It's
is
within
within
you.
I love it.
But
Miss
people
Rose
don't
Whaley?
believe in themselves. That's our biggest challenge, to trust the God within self. Not T.J. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Osteen, you.
I want to thank you so much for being here on Patreesha's Potpourri. I would like to know, would you like to come back and be my guest?
Sure, anytime.
Okay. We might have the same clothes on, but we'll be back.
Part two.
Wear the same outfit, okay?
Okay.
So everyone can see it. It's a continuation. But you can get this clip on YouTube on Patreesha's Potpourri. And Rose, do you think that this is going? Well, could you tell us about your show just one more time, where they can see you, because they may want to see you just yourself. One more time, just one more time.
Self-awareness, whose truth, every Tuesday, 7:30, channel 70.
Okay. Thank you so much for looking at Patreesha's Potpourri with her very, very special guest, Mrs. Rose Whaley, and for reading why ascension. Oh, we didn't get, well, maybe on the next show we can talk about what ascensions are.
Okay.
And
Part two.
part two. Thank you so much. Oh, a book without a name. This is the first book, right?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This has been wonderful. And I want you to think about yourself and what you can do for yourself. You have any last words to this audience?
Well, the last thing I would love to tell people, the leader you are seeking is you.
I love it. Thank you, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
Previous episodes, Patrisha's Potpourri.
This is what everything is about. It's about really deprogramming your mind, unplugging from this third dimension, low vibration that they kept us on for so many thousands of years, but now it's ready to shift. So, I will give you some information on the process, but before we get to that, this is a very, very good movie that I recommend for you to watch. Meditate on it, think about it, discuss it, do research, because truth is there. They're telling you it's science fiction because they don't want you to know the truth. This is another movie. I never saw it in the movie, but someone bought it for me because they understood the level of consciousness that I was on and said I would love it, and I did. And this is about everything you just saw on the clip at the beginning, and about this particularly young lady who had to give up her fear. And once she did, she was free. She was liberated.